My dear student in the first secondary stage, welcome at Integrated Science Program. My name is Mr. Hani Muhammad. I am a teacher of Integrated Science. This session is prepared by me and revised by the science subject expert Mr. Amr Mali. And now let's start the first unit, aquatic ecosystem. First of all, let's discuss different concepts related to this unit. Introduction. The environment. First of all, I want you to know the meaning of the environment. Environment, it is everything surround us, and it's include two main factors. The first one, it is biotic factors, such as human, plants, animals, and microorganisms. And the second factor is abiotic factors, such as light, air, water, and soil. So, I want you here to differentiate between two things, biotic and abiotic. Biotic here refers to the living things, and abiotic here refers to non-living things. I want you to look to the picture in the right side of your laptop. Okay? You will find different creatures and different features on the earth. Okay? If I ask you, what are the biotic factors in front of you in the picture? Excellent. I hear someone told me the fish and the fox, the tree, and the birds in the sky, and also the octopus, all of these considered biotic factors. Why? Because they are living organisms. And in the other hand, abiotic factor. Repeat again, abiotic factor, abiotic factors. Okay? Look to the picture again, and I want you to mention at least three names for abiotic factors. Good, excellent. Yes, the water of the sea, the land or the soil, the air, good. All of this called by abiotic factors. So the environment, it is everything surround us, and it's include biotic and abiotic factors. Okay? I hope this clear for all of you. And now let's go to another point. Elements of environment. The environment consists of three elements, and they are very, very important. The first one, it's called by physical element, such as soil and water. Chemical element, such as air. Biological element, such as human, plants, and microorganisms. And actually, I want you to go back to number 2, chemical element such as air. It's called by a chemical because the air consists of different elements such as oxygen and nitrogen and compounds such as carbon dioxide, and all of these are chemical subjects or chemical substances. Okay? So let's say that again, and please take care of your understanding and try to concentrate more as much as you can. Elements of environment. Physical element, such as soil and water. Chemical elements, such as air. Biological elements, such as human, plants, and microorganisms. Okay? I think it's clear for all of you. Let's go for another point, which is the ecosystem. Actually, the ecosystem, it is a part of the environment. The environment, it is like the big umbrella, okay? And the ecosystem, it is under this umbrella, okay? Let's look to the definition of the ecosystem. Yes, I see somebody there Read and say, yes, it is a community of living organisms that interact with each other and with non-living components for adapting to the changing conditions. That's right. Let's repeat this definition again. The ecosystem, a community. And the community here mean group of things, group of living organisms live together. Okay? Not only the living organisms, but also the materialistic things like the land, like rocks, like air, like water, and so on. Okay? So a community of living organisms that interact with each other and with non-living things or non-living components for adapting to the changing conditions. Okay? And now, my dear student, let's know or talk about examples for the different kind of ecosystem. Okay? Come with me. Different types of ecosystem. I want all of you to look carefully for this picture and try to describe what are you seeing in this picture. Okay? Yes, I'm listening for you. Yes, I'm hear somebody over there say, yes, it's maybe a freshwater lake. You are right, it's a freshwater lake. And it contains fresh water and different creatures like fish, okay, like shrimps, like aquatic plants, and sometimes aquatic birds, okay? And this ecosystem, it's called by what? Yes, aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic here, it is related to the water. Okay, so all the areas that include water, like seas, like oceans, like rivers, okay, all of these called by aquatic areas. And it's form aquatic ecosystem because in the rivers you can find different creatures, okay? And also in the oceans, you find a variety of different creatures, whatever dolphin, whatever sharks, shrimps, and so on. Okay, so this is called by what, everybody? Yes, right. It is aquatic ecosystem. Let's go to another type of the ecosystem. Yes, another picture. What are what are in the picture? Yes, excellent. It is the desert, which is mainly consists of what from sand, okay? And there is living creatures inside the desert. Like what? Yes, like camel, like gerbil, okay? Like some kind of foxes, okay? And also some kind of reptiles like and also lizard. All of these creatures live inside the desert and interact with the conditions of the desert. Okay, and as you know, the conditions of the desert, it is high temperature in the night, during the daytime, and very low temperature during the night. Okay, so mainly this picture indicates what good desert ecosystem. Okay, let's go for another type. Excellent. This is what? It is a forest. Yes. I hear somebody say jungle. Yes, it's good. It is a jungle, which include different kind of plants, whatever the trees, giant trees, and different kind of creatures. Okay. And this is also called by what? By forest ecosystem. So we have a different ecosystem, and most of them, okay, have a common feature. What these common features? They contain a group of living organisms that live together and interact with the materialistic medium of what? Of the environment. Okay? It's clear or it's need for more clarification? Good. Yes, I think it's clear. Now, everybody, let's talk about the natural environment sphere. Okay? Let's go for the definition first, then I will explain for you. Hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. These four spheres are in continuous change and they affect on and influenced by the human activities. So everybody, the hydrosphere here, it refers to everything liquid on the earth. Seas, oceans, rivers, groundwater, all of this is related to what is related to the hydrosphere. Okay, let's use the laser pen to make more clarify for you. So this is the hydrosphere, okay, as I mentioned before, and this is the atmosphere, which include what? Good, the air, okay, and the different weather features. And this is the lithosphere, which include the rocks, the solid part of the earth. And the biosphere, which include what? Yes, excellent. I hear somebody told me it is related to the living organisms. Yes, good. All of the living organisms on earth, it is called biosphere. Okay? And actually, we're going to talk about the four spheres, whatever hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, in more details in the next part. Okay, so let's go. Hydrosphere refers to the water found on Earth and it distinguishes planet Earth from other planets in the solar system. I want you to look carefully. This is your Earth planet, okay? And it contains 30%, okay, land, the solid, okay, lithosphere, if you remember in the previous part, okay, and 70% water, which represent the ocean, seas, rivers, freshwater lakes, salty water lakes, and so on, okay? The hydrosphere element on Earth. Let's talk about in more details about the hydrosphere, and we're going to concentrate more here. Please, let everything in your hand and concentrate with me. Okay, let's start. Hydrosphere covers about 70% of Earth's surface, which distributed as follows. Okay, so again, the hydrosphere covers what? Yes, excellent. 70% of the Earth's surface. Okay, and this is distributed as follows. 97% is salty water, such as oceans, seas, and salty lakes. And 1% only for fresh water. Okay? It is really, if you hear somebody told you the fresh water on earth, it is just 1%, you will be shocked, really. But in the next part, you will understand why this ratio is very small ratio. Okay, the fresh water, it is such as rivers, fresh lakes, and the groundwater. Okay, the third one, 2% is frozen water, such as polar region and glaciers. Okay, so this is called by what? By the element of on Earth, the hydrosphere element on Earth. Okay, so in this part we explain the different ratios of the hydrosphere component or hydrosphere element. Okay, my dear student, all of you concentrated with me. That's good. Let's go to another part of our lesson today. Now let's check your understanding. After we talk about different points in the lesson, we have or we need to explain to check our understanding. Now, let's go for the first question. Yes, which of the following doesn't represent an ecosystem? Again, which of the following doesn't represent an ecosystem. The Great Desert, Amazon rainforest, atmosphere, salty lakes. Yes, excellent. I hear somebody say atmosphere. You are right. The atmosphere. Good. Another question. The ratio of frozen water to liquid fresh water on the planet Earth is. Yes, we talk about what? The ratio between what? Frozen water, which represents, as I mentioned before, 2%. And the fresh water represents 1%. So the ratio will be what? Excellent. I hear one told me, Mr. Hani, it is 2.1. That's right. Excellent. Another question. What is the percentage that oceans, seas, and salty lakes represent of total percentage of water covering the earth? 70%, 97%, 3%, 30%. Good. It is 97%. Okay? Another question. What is the direct sources of fresh water on the Earth's surface? It is oceans, seas, salty water, rivers. Excellent. Try to think deeply and please leave everything in your hand and concentrate with me. I hear somebody say, yes, rivers. The right answer. Another question for more deep understanding. Which of the following represents the largest sources of water on Earth's surface? Oceans, fresh lakes, ground water, glaciated rivers? Yes, that's good. It is oceans. Excellent. Now, my dear student, let's talk about another very important point in our lesson, which is water cycle in nature, which is called also by hydrological cycle. Again, if I told you water cycle in nature, and if I told you also hydrological cycle, both of them are the same. Okay? A closed system in which the water moves continuously from one place to another through many different pathways. So this is the main definition of what water cycle in nature or water cycle in nature, hydrological cycle. Okay, a closed system in which the water moves continuously from one place to another through many different ways. Okay, and I want you to look to this picture. Okay, let's magnify it to clarify different issues here. The story starts from here, from the sun. The heat of the sun evaporates the water in the seas and in the ocean, rivers, lakes, and all the aquatic areas on the earth. And the water evaporates to change into water vapor. So from the liquid state to gaseous state. And by the elevation, okay, the water begins to condense to form the cloud. By the way, the cloud consists of very, very tiny drops of condensed water, okay, which is the water vapor change into condensed what? Condensed water. And the wind transfer or make the clouds to move from area to another area. This is by the effect of the wind. Okay, and if the conditions of the weather is suitable for falling, okay, the rain will fall down, or the snow, or the hail that form what we called it by precipitation. Again, precipitation. Okay, and the water return back to the seas or rivers, and another part of the water infiltrated and form the groundwater which is found under the surface of the earth. Okay, and this cycle will continue. Okay, so evaporation and condensation, precipitation and infiltration, all of this consider a closed cycle, okay, which is called by what? By water cycle or hydrological cycle. It's clear now? Okay, I will repeat that again for more clarification for my dear student. The story again started from the sun. The heat of the sun evaporates the water of seas, oceans, rivers, and every aquatic areas on earth. When the water change into water vapor, it will rise up to form the cloud, and the cloud consists of tiny drops of water, which is very light and can be carried by the air. And the wind transfers the clouds from a place to another. And if the weather condition is suitable for falling, the rains will fall down, okay, or the snow or the hail, and all of this called by precipitation process. Whatever the rains or the hail or the snowfall on the seas, some of the water will leak down and penetrate the pores and flow through the rocks to form the groundwater through a process called by infiltration. And the cycle will continue. Okay? I think it's clear now for most all of you. Also, in the water cycle, water changes from liquid to gas and to solid as the ice, okay? In a nature, this is called by a physical process. So the water cycle, it is include physical changes. The liquid, like water, change into gas, which is water vapor, and the water vapor, the gas state, it change, condense to form what? To form the liquid, and the liquid may be changed into solid, like the polar areas or the European areas, and so on. Okay, my dear? Now, let's talk in more details about the process of water cycle. First one, as I mentioned, evaporation and condensation, precipitation, and finally infiltration. And I will talk about each one of them in more details. Follow me. Evaporation, the water change into vapor by the effect of sun heat on aquatic areas and some biological activities like respiration and excretion in plants and animals. It also involves transpiration in plants only. So I want you here to understand very important thing. The source of the water vapor, it is not only the seas and the oceans. Yes, I'm with you. It is the main source of the water vapor on Earth, but don't forget, okay, the excretion process, okay, it is also a source of water vapor. And the transpiration in the plant, it is also a source of water vapor. I want to remember that carefully and don't forget. Okay? And now let's define the excretion process. The process in which living organisms eliminate the wastes resulting from metabolic activities such as carbon dioxide, water vapor, and nitrogen wastes, including ammonia, urea, and uric acid. I will repeat the definition again. The process in which living organisms eliminate the wastes resulting from metabolic activities such as carbon dioxide, water vapor, and nitrogenous wastes, which include ammonia, urea, and uric acid. Okay, and don't forget, I will remind you again, excretion, it is a source of what? Yes, it's a source of water vapor. Let's go to transpiration in plant. All of you look to the picture, okay, and try to understand and follow me. First of all, the plant absorbs the water by the root, and the water flow up through the stem, and the water begins to distribute it on all the leaves, right? On the leaf, there is very tiny holes, which are called by stomata. From the stomata, okay, the excess water, it's come out from the plant, okay, as a water vapor. So that the process by which plants release excess water in the form of water vapor from plant surface exposed to the air. This process called by transpiration in plant. And this is considered a source of water vapor on Earth. Okay, especially in the jungle areas, in the forest areas, there is large amount of water vapor. It's come out from the transpiration process. Okay, it's good now. Okay, let's continue. Most transpiration occurs through microscopic openings found on the surface of leaves and green stems, called by what? Yes, stomata. Okay, don't forget. So if there is no stomata in the plant, I think the transpiration process will completely stop. Okay, that's good. Now, my dear student, let's go to understand the importance of transpiration for the plant. First, it helps in decreasing the temperature of the plant. It is like the sweating in case of the human. The sweat in the human help to regulate the temperature of your body. And the same thing happens for the plant. Okay? So the importance of transpiration for plant, it helps in decreasing the temperature of the plant. Another important thing, creating of a pulling force. Again, creating of a pulling force that draws water and minerals up from roots to the upper parts of the plant through xylem tissue. Okay, so it is try or help the plant, okay, to keep alive. If the transpiration process stop, the water will not flow from the roots to the leaves. It's clear now? Yes, I hear somebody over there. Yes, all of you understand well. Let's go to another part, or the second process of water cycle. It is condensation, and I think it's very easy. The change of water vapor into tiny water drops that form the cloud. This is the condensation, and it is a physical process. In the condensation, the Gas state change into liquid state. Water vapor change into tiny drops of water to form the clouds. Good now? Okay. The third, it is precipitation. The precipitation, it is everything that comes down from the cloud. It may be rains, maybe snow, maybe hail. Okay? It depends on the weather condition. Okay? The fourth thing, yes, it is infiltration. The flowing of water through the pores of soil and sedimentary rocks, leading to the formation of groundwater. And this is very important part of the process of water cycle. I will mention that again. Infiltration. Repeat. Infiltration. Good, good. The flowing of water through the pores of soil and sedimentary rocks, leading the formation of groundwater. Excellent. Anyone has any problem in the clarification? Good, excellent. Now, my dear student, let's check your understanding. Okay? Choose the correct answer. The continuous change between the states of matter on Earth's surface through an almost closed system is known as Planck cycle. Nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, water. Good. Water. Or you can say water cycle or hydrological cycle. Excellent. Another question. The percentage of Earth's surface covered with water is blank. It is 1%, 3%, 70%, 30%. Excellent. Good. It is 70%. Let's go for another one. Which process of the following is stopped? Again, which process of the following, if stopped, could directly disturb the balance of water cycle on the Earth's surface and in the atmosphere? Surface runoff, evaporation, infiltration into soil, transpiration. Excellent. I hear somebody say, yes, it is evaporation process. Good, excellent. Another question, my dear student. An increase in the rate of plant transpiration can directly affect the water cycle in nature through plant, decreasing rainfall, increasing water vapor in the atmosphere, reducing evaporation from water body, fixing carbon dioxide in leaves. Good. I hear somebody say, yes, increasing water vapor in the atmosphere. Excellent. Another question. Water cycle in nature is known as space or again هعيد السؤال ده تاني. Water cycle in nature is known as Planck cycle, hydrogen, geological, biological, hydrological. Yes, excellent, excellent, my dear student. Yes, hydrological. That's right. Okay, so water cycle, we have another name for the water cycle. It is hydrological cycle. What is the biological process that the animal perform and share through it in the water cycle? Respiration, transpiration, photosynthesis, growth. Yes, it's easy. It is respiration process. Which of the following process is opposite to the condensation process in the water cycle in nature? Water infiltration, evaporation form seas and oceans, rainfalls, ice melting. Yes, that's right. It's evaporation form seas and oceans. Now, my dear student, let's go for essay questions. What is the biological process that contribute to the water cycle in nature? Yes, try to think. Yes, I'm waiting for you. You just have 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. The answer. What is the biological process that contribute to the water cycle in nature? Yes, good. I'm waiting for you. You have just 3 minutes, 3 seconds, I'm sorry. Yes, 1, 2, 3. The answer is respiration, transpiration, and excretion. That's good. My dear student, this is the end of our lesson for today. I hope all of you understood well. See you next time and goodbye.